Hello, judges. My name's John,
I'm Kevin.
I'm Destiny.
I'm Connor.
and we are Team 25. Our project explores the theme of imbalance, focusing on biodiversity, the impact of human activity, and conservation. We begin by examining the biodiversity of California's 8 national parks using a bubble graph that illustrates each park's species per acre. We move on to analyze how recreational and non-recreational visits to these parks correlate with species abundance using a combo chart. Finally, we highlight the conservation status of various animals and emphasize species that are often neglected in conservation efforts using a stacked bar graph. Our project aims to raise awareness about the fragile nature of ecosystems and the impacts of human interaction with nature.
For cleaning data, we mostly use Excel. Our data cleaning process involved removing redundant data, searching for any missing data, and making sure that everything is formatted correctly. Some of the tools that we use in Excel were the filter function and going through the columns to see if there was any redundancies that needed to be addressed. As we work, we also deleted columns that we were not using for our data or for our project, I should say, to make things a little bit cleaner and easier to work with. For example, one of the columns that we removed right away was year, since the values for the data set were only for a single year. And that also gave us insight that we wouldn't be conducting any sort of like time series analysis. For the parsing, we mostly use R, but we also use pivot tables and Excel to help us visualize the data differently. Some of the packages and libraries that we use in R were Tidyverse, Read Excel, Read CSV, Maps, and ggplot. Tidyverse helped us manipulate the data, recategorize and make data frames. And we also use Maps, Grid Extra, and ggplot to make our maps.
After receiving our clean data, I was specifically curious about highly threatened and endangered species. I found that across the national parks, the category with the most endangered and threatened species were vascular plants. Additionally, there were zero signs of effective conservation efforts, which was represented by the in recovery federal conservation status. The vast majority of these endangered and threatened vascular plants are native to the areas. This shows a major lack of effective conservation of native vascular plants in our national parks.
In designing and making the visualization of our infographic, some challenges we had were coming up with a theme on how to portray the context of the data set. We decided to go with the green, red, and sand-like color, which can reflect Earth's color. And there are also leaves to show the nature-like feeling. We also chose a couple of biodiversity life that was on the data set. For example, the Guadalupe fur seal, western redbat, long-eared owl, the elegant tern, and which are all residents in different California national parks.
So I wanted to continue my work in R that I had done with Dr. Salinas for the Tidy Tuesday projects that we do on Thursday. So I chose to isolate the geolocation data and then relate that to the acreage and species populations in each specific area, and then illustrate it using bubble graphs so that you can see that even though there might be a huge disparity in the acreage, you can see that the populations of the different species doesn't necessarily depend on that, which is generally counterintuitive to how we think about an area's capacity to carry life. So in conclusion, we hope that we have thoroughly illustrated to you our process for data visualization, for cleaning, and some of the process that we had to go through. We had a blast working together, and we will look forward to hopefully coming back and doing it again in the future. So again, I'm John,
Kevin,
I'm Destiny.
I'm Connor.
and we are Team 25.
thank you so
Thank
much.
you.